Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. Happy New Year to my fellow listeners. It's 2023. Oh my God. What? Where does the time go, first of all? Second of all, I just want you to know the whole theme this weekend. I spent my New Year's with my sister and my boyfriend. And my sister just kept saying, 2023 is the year for me. 2023 is the year for me. And you know what? It needs to be. For every single one of you listening to this, 2023 is the year for me, aka you. So just repeat that back to yourself. 2023 is the year for me. Because when you fill your cup up first, when you take care of yourself first, when you figure out what it is that who you are, what you want to do, your values, all of the things, life just gets better. So if you've been striving to live a healthier and happier lifestyle, well, then this episode is definitely for you. So keep listening. All right, so before we talk about the do's and don'ts to make 2023 the best year to be the healthiest and happiest version of you, we do need to address the fact that this time of year is when a lot of people are setting goals and taking action and setting New Year's resolutions. And I want to really kind of talk through that, because depending on who you follow, what you listen to, you might hear that, New Year's resolutions are stupid, or you might hear like New Year's resolutions are what you need to do and you have to have it figured out in every single detail and all the things. And I find that most of the time when I'm talking about literally anything, I'm always the person that's like in the middle. I'm always the person that's like, well, I understand, nothing is changing magically overnight. And so, coming up with these New Year's resolutions kind of seems silly. But then the other part of me is like, well, if you don't have any sort of clear direction of where you want to go, how are you going to get anywhere, right? So I always see both sides. What I will say is that if we're really being honest, there really is no difference from December 31st, 2022 to January 1st, 2023. The only difference is the day of the week, the date of the month, the year date, but the reality is that things don't magically change within 24 hours or within even a minute of each other, right? 11:59, December 31st, 2022, and now, it's midnight, January 1st, 2023. Nothing magical is happening. Literally, there really is no difference and no change from one year to the next, unless you choose to change it, right? Or unless you choose to see it differently. So really, the only difference is actually your mindset, right? Your mindset, the belief that you can, your decision to try, right? But there's not to say that you couldn't do whatever your New Year's resolution is or whatever your goals are for 2023. This doesn't mean that you couldn't have done them if you decided to start it on, say, November 1st, 2022, right? There really is no difference, because the reality is even if the holidays, which they are, tend to be a more hectic time of year, your goals in the new year, you're also going to experience hectic times of year, right? And so this idea that we're waiting for perfect timing to start, that is where the lie is, right? That's where there's a lot of misinformation around it. And really the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time to start is today. And really starting isn't even half of it. It's learn how to develop the habits to be consistent and stick to it, the stick-to-itness and the commitment that actually is going to make you successful. So many people put so much effort and energy into the start of something when the real effort and energy comes in the longevity of things. Okay, so really, really think about that. That in order for you to hit whatever goals that you have for 2023, it's not going to just happen because you decided it's going to happen today. It's because you have to wake up every single day and decide and choose that this is who I want to be and this is how I'm going to get there. And this is what I'm going to be doing. Understand? So every single day is a choice. All right. So With that being said, I am taking full advantage of this energy, this newfound mindset, this idea, this inspired action of that you can do hard things because it's a new year. So like totally, even though you could have done hard things last year, we're going to go with it, right? I completely support this. So let's go. Let's do it. All right. So if 2022 wasn't what you wanted, I want you to know that you have the power to change it. However, nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you expect to repeat the same old patterns and behaviors, so if it's in dieting, going from one diet to the next, or, going all in with your health and then not caring at all, or, being super rigid during the week and kind of off track on the weekends and, exercising 6-7 days a week and then not exercising at all, or never taking a rest day and then wondering why you're feeling completely burnt out, emotionally, maybe being there for everybody else, but not feeling like you can open up or speak to or get help for your own personal mental health needs or physical needs or whatever it is, right? So if you expect 2023 to be different, doing the same things you've been doing in 2022, well, I hate to tell you, but not going to happen. All right. So we're going to go over 5 do's and don'ts. So technically 10 things, 5 things that you can do in 2023 to live a happier, healthier you. And then 5 things you don't want to do. Because if you do them, chances are you're going to be exactly where you were last year at the end of this year. And we don't want that, right? Okay. So I kind of already mentioned what the first do is, and I'm just going to reiterate it here. So the first do is put yourself first. Okay. Don't expect changes pouring from an empty cup. It's literally not going to happen. Your energy is your best asset. So whether that means you need to focus on getting enough sleep, whether that means you need to delegate more, whether that means you need to say no to more things, whether that means you need to surround yourself with people that pour into your energy and give you energy rather than drain your energy, whatever it is, put yourself first. Eat healthy foods, eat balanced foods, hydrate with water, speak up for your wants and your needs, put yourself first. If you're a mom and your mornings are crazy, then whether it's the second you drop the kids off, you go and you do something for you, or maybe if you're a working mom, it's even harder. But you wake up a little bit earlier just so you have a little bit of peace of mind before starting the day, and you maybe journal and meditate or whatever it is. Do it for you. Put yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot expect changes pouring from an empty cup, because then your energy is limited and your energy is your best asset. And if you don't have your energy, you don't have anything. Okay. And then you're making things harder on yourself when they can be easier for yourself. All right. So I know that's a hard one. We could probably do a whole podcast episode on that, but we're just going to leave it there. Okay. So the next thing that you can do to make 2023 your best year yet is to eat foods that make you feel good inside and out. Okay. So what do we mean by that? We know that eating only broccoli and fruit and vegetables and, lean proteins or quote unquote clean foods and healthy fats, like if you only eat that, you might feel good on the inside, but you also might feel not so great on the outside. So you might feel like you're kind of deprived and you're restricted and it's hard to have fun, right? Versus the other side is like if you only eat foods that are high in, fried foods, high in sugar, high in salts, right? And there's very little fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, right? It's not very balanced, right? Then you're not going to feel good on the inside, right? It's going to be really hard for you to show up with energy, right? You might struggle with bowel movements. You might struggle with, and then it does start to show on the outside. You might have more like stuff like acne on your face, or you might feel bloated, right? All these things that come with it. You're not going to feel good on the inside or the outside, right? And so very often I say, focus on how you want to feel more than how you want to look, because when you focus on how you want to feel, you genuinely do feel good on the inside, and then it shows on the outside. You will glow with confidence at any size when you learn to eat balanced and when you learn to take care of yourself, when you learn to eat foods that are nourishing, but also foods that are fun and flavorful and give you pleasure, and knowing how to have, your version of balance within that. And I know some of you might be like, I've tried that. I don't know how to get there. Well, that's where, if you've ever been considering working with a dietitian on our team and joining the 6 months of food freedom program, that would be a really great option for you. So I'll explain more about that at the end, but those are the types of things that we help you figure out, is we help you find your balance within that. And it might be a really great thing for you to do, especially the start of a new year, rather than going on another diet or trying to, spin your wheels and trying to figure it out yourself. You might want to consider doing something different by joining the 6 months of food freedom program. So I'll explain a little bit more about the end. Sorry, I went on a tangent, but basically, what you want to do is eat foods that make you feel good inside and out. So basically, eat balanced. Don't eat in those extremes. And also don't chase the number on the scale. That's a big one, right? So many people look at the number on the scale as the way to measure their progress, as their sole way of measuring progress. But the number doesn't always reflect the feeling and doesn't always reflect the behavior, and rarely reflects your relationship with food. And your relationship with food and your mindset are the number one things that are driving your behaviors and the things that actually matter. So please, for 2023, I really want you to stop chasing the number on the scale. If that means throw it out completely, then do that. But don't allow the number to dictate your mood. We need our mood to dictate our actions, which then, as a result, will change the number, right? So we need to flip that. All right, number 3, do surround yourself with people who see your value. Now, hopefully you have people in your life that get you, understand you, see you fully, see you for who you are, not for your clothing size or not for the number on the scale, and, basically see you for the person that you are and love you for who you are and aren't judging you for, what you look like and all of those things. However, there might be some of you who don't have that. So I'm going to put in another plug to the 6 months of food freedom program. But within our program, we actually just added an element, which we had it before. We're bringing it back, and we're bringing it back with the vengeance, with the good vengeance. And we're probably going to build on it with more group calls. So we used to have like one group call a month where all the one-to-one members used to get together. But now we're actually combining. We had the group program that we had just launched, and then we had the 6 months of food freedom program. Those were separate. But in 2023, they're actually coming together. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have weekly group coaching calls, and anybody that's working with a dietitian on the team and that's working one-to-one will also then be able to be part of people who see their value, because they see them for who they are so much more than their goals, because they all know what it feels like to be valued just by what you look like. And so we're really doing our absolute best to curate a community who allows people to express and share their gifts of who they are and what they contribute to the world without having to talk about, what the size of their clothes are or the number on the scale, because that stuff doesn't actually matter. So if you don't have people in your life that understand you and that get you, maybe unfortunately you live in a family, or you grew up with a family that is very much still focused on being on diets and caring about, they're always talking about how much weight they lost, or they're almost commenting on how much weight you gained or whatever it is, and you don't want to be around that. Well, we'll definitely teach you strategies of how to create boundaries with those people. But the reality is, it sounds like what you're being exposed to on a regular basis are not people that are helping you to grow and to be better and to, live a life of health and happiness, balance, abundance, right? All of those things, right? So the do is obviously surround yourself with people who see your value. So whether that's part of even our free Facebook support group might be something, but maybe getting in the community, being part of like a group or something that you feel close to, that would be really helpful. But the don't to that is spend time with people who dim your light. So don't spend time with people who put you down, who make you feel less than, right? So you might not be able to, cut those people out completely, but you can definitely limit your exposure and how frequently you do see them or communicate with them. And it's really important, because we are who we surround ourselves with. Like, at the end of the day, yes, we have our ability to choose, right? So for example, growing up, maybe you had a bunch of friends, maybe they did a lot of drugs or they drank alcohol, and you never, did any of that stuff. And somehow you made it out without trying it. My guess is most of us growing up probably were exposed to either drugs or alcohol at an earlier age. And because of that exposure, it's something that we did. Now, that doesn't make up who we are and all that stuff. But the point being is that We would have never tried something if we were not exposed to it, right? So the more you hear and see about something, the more you're going to want to try it, the more curiosity it's going to pull. So if you spend your time with people who are constantly putting you down, it's going to be really hard to see your own light. But if you surround yourself with people who constantly are talking about your light and how great you are, and they see you and all that, then you're more likely to want to be that person, and you're going to see your value too. Okay? All right. Number 4, do move your body intentionally, because you get to. You get one body. It's a beautiful body, and it has the ability to do so many amazing things. And when we move it consistently and intentionally, we usually feel really good in it, right? So we feel good in our body that way. What we don't want to do is exercise because we feel like we have to. Because if we don't, that means that we're not worthy, or if we get an extra workout in, that means we get to earn more food, or we have to because the exercise program tells us that we have to work out, and it has to be at this time, it has to be for this many hours, and it has to be on this day, and it has to look exactly like this, right? Those are things that are not going to help you in the long run, right? So we also, just like you don't want to eat food because of the number on a scale. You want to eat food because it makes you feel good. You don't want to exercise just because it's going to get you a certain result. You want to exercise because it's going to make you feel good and it's overall good for your health, right? So your mindset behind your choice matters so much more than the choice itself. And so it's really important that if you really want to develop a healthier relationship with exercise, that you realize that you do it because you get to, not because you have to. And eventually, when you do it because you get to, you'll actually find, especially if you spend time exercising or doing movements that, you actually enjoy, rather than feeling like you have to, whether it's like cycling, or you have to spin, or you have to run, or you have to swim, or I may have said spin and swim like multiple times, sorry. I hate both of those. That's why they came up. If you have to walk, or you have to lift weights, or right? Like anything that comes from that place, it's going to be really hard to want to continue to do it. But if you realize that you get to move and you choose movements that you enjoy somewhat, right? Like you maybe really like yoga, so you do that, or you really like strength training, so you do that, or you really like, group fitness classes, so you go there, right? You're not going to always want to, but there's going to be more chances than not that you choose to, and you actually start to look forward to it, and you actually do want to. So you get to and you want to becomes being the thing that you do, rather than forcing yourself to do something that you really don't want to do, but you think that you have to, or you quote unquote should do it, right? So let's pay attention to that. Okay. And then last but certainly not least, what you want to do in 2023 is you need to develop a growth mindset. You need to set goals, take risks, try to make your dreams a reality. Seriously, you can literally do anything you set your mind to. I forgot who said this, and it's such a popular quote, so I apologize. But whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's the absolute truth. So what we don't want to do is stay in a scarcity mindset, okay? Because that scarcity mindset tells us that we can't do it. Tells us that things are going to get better if I just work harder. That's a lie. You've been trying harder and working harder and trying to do it on your own for years, right? The scarcity mindset says, I don't really need it, or I can't afford it, or my partner wouldn't really agree that I'm doing this, or we're looking for excuses, right? The scarcity mindset tells us that we can't do it, and then we try to find reasons why we can't, right? But a growth mindset is understanding that you can do it, that you believe that you can do it, and even if you don't quite see how, you know that the resources, the people, the methods, the ability to change is there if you choose to look for it. If you choose to lean in a little bit of the discomfort, if you choose to try something that you've never done before, things will change for you, right? I know I've said it like a bazillion times, but I seriously mean it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So looking back on last year, or even the year before, or the year before that, And if you're here wanting the same thing that you wanted for 3, 4, 5 years in a row, well, I need you to be honest with yourself. Like, have you really been doing things differently? Or have you been doing basically what I say in my TED Talk? It's like doing the same diet, just in a different book, right? Like, have you gone from Weight Watchers to, oh my God, there's so many out there. Oh my God, why are of course my brain's blinking. It's fine. There's so many out there and I'm so tired of all of them. But there's just so many things where it's like you're counting points and then you're counting calories and then you're counting macros and then you're counting portion containers and then you're counting tally points of if you did this or you did that, right? It's all just like very much focused on like a new way of doing the same thing, right? And really the most of those things are based off of restriction. They're lists of what you can do, what you can't do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, right? Nothing is really customized or individualized or really honestly getting to the root of what it is that you need to really be addressing, which is, why are you putting your value in the way that you look and the number on the scale, right? That's the root of it. Because no matter what you do, even if it's the quote unquote healthiest diet in the world, your mindset is the driving force to whether it is actually sustainable or not, right? And the goal isn't just to be healthy, and the goal also isn't just to be happy, right? The goal is to be both healthy and happy. And in order for you to achieve that, you need to first disassociate this idea that your weight and your worth are tied together. And then you also get to decide and choose how you care for your body, how you nurture your body, how you love your body, so that you can be and feel and do all the things that you want to do in this world, right? So healing your relationship with food in your body is the very first step for you to be able to do all of the goals and the dreams and the risks that you want to take and turn into reality, right? Like, I'll use myself as an example. Right now, I'm in this part of my career where I'm doing so many incredible things. I started business coaching, meaning like I'm coaching other registered dietitians and helping them get the results that they want in their businesses. Obviously grew my team of Tips with Tony, where we have a team of registered dietitians who are helping you, who are listening to this, get to a place of health, happiness, body acceptance, body confidence, all the things, right? And I'm going to be launching some more things coming down the line, where I'm just going to be able to help people get more clarity on who they are and how they want to show up in this world, and just to live a life based on passion. And there's just so many incredible things. And I'm going to speak on more stages, and I got my real estate license. I'm going to be doing more of that. And you would think it sounds like I'm spreading myself really thin, but I'm really living a life of purpose. And once you get rid of all of the negative headspace, all of the things that are holding you back. Like for the years that I spent obsessing over how much to eat, what to eat, when to eat, what my workout was going to be, how long it was going to be, what workout I was going to look like. That took so much of my time, effort, and energy that I didn't even realize at the time. It was taking up all this space that could have been better utilized into helping other people grow their businesses, helping other people grow their confidence, helping other people live their lives in a way that was aligned with them, and kind of like doing what I'm doing today, right? So all that to say, like, the amount of time, effort, and energy and the amount of brain space you're allowing your eating and your body and your workouts to take up, it's pulling from your potential. It's pulling from who you are meant to be as a person, as a woman, as a mom, as a parent, as a friend, as a colleague, as a mentor, as a teacher, as a person in healthcare. Maybe you're a nurse or a doctor, right? Whatever you're doing, like, you were put on this earth for a planet and for a reason, and you're meant to shine and you're meant to thrive. And you really are capable of doing whatever you choose to do. And that's the growth mindset. Now, within that growth mindset, in order for you to be able to live in absolute clarity and certainty and in the energy that it takes to require to live up to your potential, you do first need that foundation of a healthy relationship with food in your body. Because without it, you're only going to get so far and you're not actually going to reach your potential. So I'm telling you, I'm speaking to you that this is the first step for every single body. every single body. The first step is for you to develop a healthier, balanced mindset. Figure out what works best for you, both now and in the future. And when you do that, you can literally do anything you want to do. Okay? So if this pulled on some heartstrings, spoke to your heart, my guess is you'd be an absolute perfect fit for the 6 Month to Food Freedom Program. But just to make sure, I want you to go to tipswithtony.com/coaching to watch the video about the program, apply to the program, and then we'll set up a call to make sure that it is a good fit and really go through kind of where you're at, where you want to go, and how we can fill the gaps. And if all that goes well, and we both believe in each other, then we will invite you to the program, and we will make sure that 2023 is the year for me, aka the year for you, to do what you want to do, to live your healthiest, happiest, and best life, and it's going to be incredible. All right. So if you have not yet, go to www.tipswithtony.com/coaching to fill out your application. I look forward to reading it. I look forward to meeting you virtually on Zoom, where we can kind of go through where you are, where you want to go, and build out the roadmap to help you get there. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.